My face is just a little bit frozen, don't you think? Well, so I got kind of a little bit set up here. Let me turn you around. All right, I was gonna try to do this by setting you on the ground, but I can't. So what we got here, let me get my glove more secured on my hand. All right, so the only spot I cleared, like cleared is where I'm gonna put my fire. So you'll do that, you know, roughly around center of where your two trees are. If you don't have trees, you can still do it. You just got to make some stakes. You know, stick up the ground high enough, 5 feet or something like that, maybe 4 feet. Probably, you know, closer to the ground you get, the more it's gonna trap the heat in. So be wary of that too. But anyway, so I got my shovel. That's what I did a lot of this moving of this snow and this duff stuff, which, by the way, I am actually going to do a layer of this on the snow, just to kind of help a little bit with like melting. I'm not worried about it because the reflective side is going up, but let's get this glove off my hand so I can do this a little bit easier. All right, so I got just a normal, you know, grocery store type bag, cotton bag. Got my hydration. Water's better, but this is good because it's got electrolytes and stuff like that. It's probably one of my favorite flavors. Here's that Goal Zero Venture 70. Yes, Venture 70. Portable charger. I'm gonna start set some of this down here. Now there's this. I brought this just to show, as in a pinch, you know, even your cheap, crappy, break easy cordage can still work in some cases. If anything, you could double this up, you know, fold it in half and retwist it. Or you can cut it into 3 equal pieces and braid it together. Either way, you can make this stronger, but it works just as it is in some cases as well. Brought my charging cord for my phone. Let's see. I brought some of these 1 foot aluminum tent stakes. It's Duffy here, but I think for this method it'll be just fine. It'll work because it's just going to be holding the emergency blanket, and I can do that right at the corner of the blanket. Otherwise, I grabbed some of these last week, and you know, they're long. They got the 1 foot, but they also have that, which could help too if you make buttons on the corners. You can fit the button right here in that groove. So there's that. Brought my axe. That's for building the fire mostly. For some ambient light, I brought a 12-hour green glow stick. Whoops. Also glow sticks, you know, aside from just giving you light, can let people know, hey, I'm here. So if you use that in conjunction with your the orange of your emergency blanket, if it was an emergency, use that in conjunction with that, you know, tie it to the corner or the top or something. Someone will see you a lot easier. Other than that, that's pretty much our shelter right here. This bag here is our shelter. So we got for the ridge line, we got for doing the buttons. I like using these because you can reuse them and you're not cutting up your cordage to use to tie stuff together. So this serves 2 purposes, and that you're saving cordage, you can reuse them, it's easier. The other instant, you could use these to like keep some of your gear together. Like I could tie these together with it so they're not clanking around, and stuff like that. And as far as food for right now, I brought some snacks, some pistachios, and an orange. Vitamin C is important when you're working in the cold. You need that vitamin C to keep your immune system boosted a little bit. It's good for stuff. So that's what I brought. And in theory, oh, I forgot this, the shovel, and and my Fiskars folding saw. So that's the gear I brought, except for the plastic, which is supposed to go over the entire shelter. That's like one of the key parts of the shelter. Except for that, that's everything that you could possibly need right there. I do have my buck knife on me on my side. Gotta clean it. It's got pine sap on it. Otherwise, this is gonna be my camp for tonight, because I am actually gonna stay out here. Let's move this camera a little bit slower so it's not jutting around. But yeah, I mean, as far as you can see, there is not. You can hear some traffic in the distance because, again, I am kind of close to the cities, close to a highway, within a mile or so. This is just a demonstrational video, so I almost thought that thing right there was a deer. It's just a patch of leaves. And then again, this piece here was used previous camping in this spot. Not this exact spot, but close to this area spot. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I will get to setting up some stuff here. So what I'm gonna do, my phones must be starting to get cold. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay out the big reflective blanket, the thicker one, and lay it reflective side up on the snow after I put this duff over it. All right. So, update, we have our mattress. I ended up using these circle ones, just because I felt they would grab this a lot better to hold it down. But yeah, make every corner as tight as I possibly could, stake it down. There is some slack here in the back, but that's okay because we're going to be putting our other piece over that. So all right, so now that part's done, I will set up our ridge pole from here to here, let's see here. I'm debating whether I want to use a ridge line first, hang it up on the ridge line, or if I want to do a ridge pole and hang it on the ridge pole. Which, if I do ridge pole, I'm using that cordage to keep it onto the ridge pole, but I'm going to use that to tie the ridge pole to the trees, or to make the ridge line. So once I decide that, I'll get back to you guys and kind of explain a little bit. All right, we are at the step. I decided to go with the ridge line. I didn't do any fancy knots. The only kind of fancy knot that I did, not even fancy, just a typical bow line over here, which Now looking at it, I'm going to do a square knot right here. Let's slide this back here. Trying to do this one-handed, so bear with me. Come on, you. I see you. I see you. It's peeking its little head through. I see it. Oh, come on. There we go. Just a little extra insurance that it's not gonna untie on me. So anyways, you can see I got nice and tight. I don't know if you can hear that in the camera, but it makes a cool sound. And then over here, like I've said before, I'm not really big on fancy knots. I'm not hugely knowledgeable in them quite yet. I just kind of tie knots when how I see is going to serve me a purpose. So for this instance, I did the bowline on the end, so that way I'm not gonna have to cut any cord to take it out. And then here I went around, cinched it tight, and then wrapped it around this way 3 times, and then cinched it back tight again. And then all I did was just figure 8 through here, up here, through here. I did that a couple of times. You can see 1, 2 times there. And then I brought it back and tied a loose loop here. So this setup isn't going to go anywhere. The only time it would is if I pull this stick, pull this, boom, boom, quick release. But that stick is serving a locking purpose right now, so we'll leave it. I might just do a quick little like figure 8 this way, back again on that back area, just to like secure this end line. But otherwise, yeah, that's our ridge line. And then I did the buttons there, so you just take some of the whatever organic material you can. It could be an acorn. The acorns, or not acorn, acorn could work. I meant to say pine cone though. You could use pine cones, but the pine cones that I've been finding are too big, and I don't feel like breaking them down. So just a little bit of organic material. Snow could probably even work, to be honest. Tie a ball, and then tie that shut, and then I put them in the backs of those. Now this ground, since it's heavily wooded with pines and firs and stuff like that, there's not a lot of solid ground under here, so those stakes are gonna do enough. And then what I'm gonna do is make a couple more buttons. I put some pressic knots up here, and then I need to stake down that middle better because it's a little loose. But once I get all that built up, I will show you the finished product as of yet, and then I'll go get that plastic and then finish it up. Once I'm finished with that, we are going to set up a long life fire. So I'll explain more on that, and that could even be possibly a separate video if this video feels like it's getting too long. But yeah, that's where we're at, and then I'll get back to you once I get this put up and start with the plastic. All right, we got it all set up. We had a small hiccup. I had to flip this guy around because when I was tying this one here, I'll show you, it ripped. So may or may not last. But what my solution was, I flipped it around, and because it didn't meet up with that guy anymore, I had to I just simply tied the two pieces together, like triple, quadruple knotted it. So that's knotted really, really good. Shouldn't go anywhere. And then tied that to this stick, which I had to make a stake. So it just ripped when I did that. Yeah. See? So this is a learning experience for everybody. These Mylar blankets are crap if you're trying to do something like that. Okay. Anyway, so I got these pressing knots here. I can loosen, tighten, whatever I need. And it's not going to go anywhere. Pressing knot there. Pressing knot here. Those knots are very, very useful, so that's why I keep those in my itinerary. But yeah, I'm gonna have to repair that. All right, so that's what it looks like from back here. Now, some of you are probably gonna say, why'd you put the thin one on top if that's less durable? Well, I'm going to be laying on that, so I'll be moving around a lot more on that than I am on that. So I wanted the more durable one on the bottom. That's why I did that. I think typically someone's just going to have the one blanket. So if you have just the one blanket, you use it as your back wall. And then you lay like a bunch of green, like you got a bunch of that stuff, lay it down, all these pine branches and stuff. Yes, you'll have to kill a tree or cut some branches to do that, which is why I did this method this way, because I'm not killing any trees. So that pole and the other pole earlier in the video will be used to hold down the plastic, so I'm not going to be using any like knots or anything or tying rope to hold the plastic down. It's all just going to be sticks. Let me lay this plastic over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, running out of time, so I'm opting not to go with the long fire because that's the wood I got for tonight. There and there, I ended up felling this huge dead tree. How do you know it's dead, you ask? Well, I mean, aside from the obvious, that's missing bark. If you come down here towards the base, it took some doing with just my little fiskars and hatchet, but you can see I cut about a third or so into the tree using the fiskars, and the rest of it I used the axe. But anyways, here's the other way. Oh, Tim, how do you know it's a dead tree? Let's find a good spot here. Here's one. I can just peel the tree apart with my bare hands. Look at that, all completely rotten. I didn't do anything to hurt anything. If anything, it took one branch right there off of this tree. That's the only thing it did other than fall. All right, so just to give you guys a quick rundown, I got these tarp clips here. I grabbed those when I grabbed this piece of plastic, so just hold the ends together. The only reason I left one here and then I clipped 3 here, I want some cold air to come through, I want some ventilation, and then this will be my door. So typically with this setup, you'll use this flap here as a door with a branch or something. You know, this is wrapped around the branch or whatever. I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to be lifting it up. I'll just be like kind of poking my head through here or through the other end and feed the fire. The way I build it, hopefully it'll last quite a while, but this stuff's been dead for quite a while, so it might burn quick. We'll see. Otherwise, push come to shove, I am 5-minute walking distance to my car, so push come to shove and I can't stay out here the rest of the night. I'm not gonna die trying to complete this. You know, I'm just trying to give kind of general feel of this is how it's going to be set up. If you're in an emergency situation, you aren't going to have a super amount of time, so I lost time. Well, that's the result. I know the screen's kind of skipping around a lot, so I'm going to try to take it slow here. But I'm gonna get going here, and then I will catch you guys back when the fire's built. Alright, so it's not the prettiest of fire lays, but you get the idea. I got this little cavern, if you will, underneath that. Thin stuff in here, a little bit thicker there, a little bit of a base on the bottom, and I built the starting of it on the front half of the fire so that way it has more time to move this way, and then also this wood will kind of be a protector from like wind and stuff to the fire and or heat reflector. But so that's the idea. Now I'm going to use this as my fire tinder, or not fire tinder, but my a little bit of frost on there. I don't know the name of this guy, but they look like this pretty much all year round. So I'm gonna go like this. If you have one, you should always have one in your gear. Bic lighter. Always start with a Bic lighter. So I'm gonna try to light the back end of this, maybe a little bit of the side. See if this guy lights up. Try not to light my gloves. It's not doing a whole lot yet right now. Get the tip of this going. Come on. Like I said, it had a little bit of frost on it, so it's probably going to take a little bit. Let's stick this in here since it's got some hot. Alright, let's take a different approach to this. I'm going to fold that. I'll try to light with this leaf on fire. If that gets lit on fire, then we're in business, but it's not. Alright, well, let's see. See, these are some of the problems you might run into when you're out doing this, especially in the winter. Finding stuff, if you don't have birch bark, you gotta find something that's gonna get you lit. I did grab, not necessarily grab, but there was some pine bark off of that tree that I felled. Let's grab some of that, because I feel like that's gonna probably start on fire a little bit easier than this, I guess. I thought this was gonna work, but trial and error, that's how we learn. Alright, well, we got it started. Not exactly the way I wanted to start it, but I had to sacrifice a little paracord. Everything around here, since it's been covered in snow and such, has just been really wet. So it was hard to get this thing lit just with organic material. So I don't like sacrificing paracord like that, but you know, if this was a life or death thing, I don't think I would hesitate at all to use paracord to light a fire. But so that's that, and we shall see how this pans out. I'm gonna stack a little bit more back here, like I said, a little bit more of a wind block, a smoke chase, because smoke does like to follow the closest thing to it usually, and heat shield kind of a little bit. So I got all that stuff there I can use. Just pile a bunch of it back there, and then this pile should burn from here up and back, and that should last quite a while. So I will pile some more on the back, and then just take a breather and relax a little bit. Well, we got ourselves a fire here. You can hear sizzles. You can hear some sizzling for sure. All that is moisture in these sticks here. So like I said, I'm trying to keep the fire in the front. If I need to, I'll just dump a bunch of snow on this back portion so that this stuff stays wet a little bit longer, which I might just do. But I just went in here just to lay the sleeping bag out, and I'm already feeling it in there. I'm definitely gonna have to take my jacket off and probably my hoodie, but that fire is a raging. So I put the fire as it is. I put the sticks this way on purpose so that they don't roll this way, and then in the hopes that this pile, once it's established and built, these ones should not roll down. But there is that possibility, so I have to be careful of that and make sure that I'm building this front portion up high enough so these back ones aren't going to do that. As it is right now, it's definitely just the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 logs or so right here in the front that are on fire. Another thing that'll help with this stuff not rolling forward is because these outside pieces aren't starting on fire as early. That's another reason I did the fire right in the middle instead of the whole length of it, and the fire is just gonna expand anyways. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is get some snow and put it on the back end here, make sure that it stays nice and moist so it doesn't start on fire. The wood is also insulating the snow a little bit from the fire, and then if it does reach that far, that pile of snow will moisten those to keep them from burning as well. So there's that, and then I am going to get in here and lay down. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, so this outer plastic is supposed to be as clear as you can possibly get it. Now the roll that I bought, it said clear on it. It's kind of a matte clear, I mean, I guess, but regardless, the heat is still coming through. You just don't want to use black. If you use black, it's not going to really do a whole lot. You want that heat to come through that clear barrier and hit your reflective. So yeah, I'm gonna get that covered back there and get in the shelter, and I'll show you kind of what my shelter looks like from the inside when I get in there. All right, I gotta tell you, if anyone is skeptical that this stuff is gonna keep you warm, holy cow. So let's see here. Here's a reason why you don't want it super close. Some spark holes. But holy cow, the heat blaring in here. Like, I could seriously probably take almost all my clothes off and I would be warm like I was in a sauna. Like, it feels like that right now. I could sweat just laying here. So I'm probably going to this is actually relatively kind of cold right now, but I might open up one of these clips here, probably this one, let some air flow in here, because holy cow, that is one warm fire. Whoo wee. All right, I smell something burning. I'm gonna get out there and look, and we'll see. Yeah, I mean, whew, that's definitely pulling off some heat. I'm gonna get out there and take a gander because I don't want to start on fire. If anything, I'll have to just like make the fire a little bit smaller. We'll see. All right, so you can see the heat waves from the fire reflecting off the plastic. So the plastic is actually not starting on fire. So what I smelt was there's a spot right here. Nope, right here. The hot coal landed on it. So that's what I mean by you got to be careful how close you got this thing. So this still to the touch feels kind of cool or cold, but that's because the cold air from outside is touching it on the back. But the heat coming off of just this plastic alone is just tremendous. So I'm leaving that end open, and I took 2 clips off over here. I needed airflow. It's just like, it is way too unbearable in here. So I think next time, if I was to do this again, which I probably will, I'll do the fire a little bit further away, maybe closer to like 4 to 5 feet away instead of 3 to 4 feet, because the tremendous amount of heat coming off this thing is ridiculous. But that's okay. I'd rather do that than be freezing completely. You know, push come to shove, I could use this, wrap it around me and sit by a fire, but that's not going to help, you know, as much better. So the contrast, the tip of my pillow here, which I put my jacket inside my hoodie, the tip of my pillow here is a little cold. This is cold, but from like where my head is all the way down to my ankles is all warm, all toasty. So I don't have my shoes, or rather my boots. I don't have my boots off yet, but if I did, I'd put my feet in the sleeping bag and that would be substantial. Honestly, in this, I'd probably just keep my feet in these boots, just because these boots are rated for a good temperature, and I wouldn't put my feet in the sleeping bag necessarily with the boots on, but if I felt that I needed to, I would. It's not a good idea to put your boots on, especially with snow, inside your sleeping bag, because if you're going to have to keep using it, you don't want to use it frozen or wet. But again, it's on a need-to-need basis, so just do what you got to do to survive. Keep all your digits if you can. All right, so this is what we got here. I'll grab this stick real quick. I'm going to be putting this out now. But, I mean, there's not a whole lot left here but some hot coals. This is still on fire a little bit, but that's okay. The snow I put here will put it out. And Let's see, that's compared to the size of my foot, so that's all the bigger I had that. Maybe 2 feet. Whoops. Let's add wood to the fire when we're gonna put it out, huh? I'm gonna use this to stir snow in there. So worked out pretty good. I took some of it apart. I used the wood that I put to hold both the front and the back. I put in the fire to burn out. And I went over there, kind of cleaned up a little bit, and just threw stuff around random so it wasn't all just in one pile. And so this fire, let's see, I put wood on it every half hour for probably 3 hours or so. So 3-hour fire, every half hour putting wood on there. Again, it was just these conditions with this particular wood. If you use a hardwood, it's going to last a lot longer. Thicker logs last a lot longer. But all in all, 3 hours of good sauna-like heat when you're in negative degrees. It can be a morale boost at the least, and at the most, it'll keep you from dying. But so that is. Oh yeah, and there only was like 2 holes. Let's see here. There's a hole here and a hole here. So keep in mind that was, down here lower. This one was down here lower because of the logs that were there. But that's the only 2 holes I found in there. Keeping, let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's about 3.5, 4 feet away. So adjust accordingly. If it's going to be really windy and the wind is facing towards that for some reason, keep it more like 4, 4.5, 5 feet away, and then use those thicker logs to last longer. And I would suggest, I didn't do it this time for whatever reasons I already explained, but I would suggest if you're going to do a full long fire, do it about as tall as you are. So I went from here to here inside here. So I would have done a log at probably 5 feet. I'm about 5'8". I would have done it at about 5 feet. And I would have done the 3 log instead of the 2 log. The 2 log, I think, generates heat off 2 different sides, but the 3 log is going to last a little bit longer. But that's that. I'm going to pack this stuff up and head on the road. I will catch you guys next time. Now that's what I call froze face. It's mostly just, my breath. Frozen breath on my face. The struggles of wearing a beard.